All right, we do it every game. Baller of the night, best player from the game. We do it every single game.
Okay,
continuity. That's what's important, Evans. Who's your baller?
Yeah, you're teaching me
We
that.
do it every night, dude. What do you think? We always do this every night.
I don't do anything like that
Go.
ever. No.
Just give us your baller. So
Oh, baller of the night. Okay, yeah. Gerald Wallace.
Swish.
You know, the guy set aside his ego. He came off the bench and he did it quite well. I mean, Brad Stevens talked about how when you put Wallace together with Sullinger and Olynyk, you can improve the spacing on the floor. You can get drives to the basket. Like you can do a lot of things with those guys together, and it worked well. And because Wallace came off the bench, it worked tonight. So, Joe Wallace.
Okay. My baller is Phil Pressey. We talked about the point guard situation, or the lack of point guard situation, and Phil Pressey is the only actual point guard on the Celtics. Obviously hasn't played much this season. I thought this was his debut tonight. I was corrected by my colleague here. But let's be honest, this is like the de facto debut for Pressey tonight because he had meaningful minutes, played a good game, and when he came into the game in the first quarter, they were down 10. When he left the game in the second quarter, they were up 6.
Good stuff.
So don't tell me that he didn't have an effect on the win.
I won't say anything.
Don't tell me that.
I won't.
Nobody was going to tell you.
I'm not going to say anything like
tell you anything.
It sounded like one of you guys were about to.
I think I'm going to hold back. But no, he didn't have any effect. B squared, Brandon Bass, my baller of the night.
Nobody.
The offensive repertoire is starting to emerge
B-squared.
for him. Yeah, it's one of his nicknames.
Not even.
No, he goes by B squared. He doesn't really go by his nickname though. That's his thing. Like nobody really knows.
So it's just a thing that Jared calls him that nobody else knows.
No,
or
he
cares
said
about.
he said that was his nickname his first year here. He said,
Did you ask him that?
I think Petrus gave him the nickname in Orlando or something. Yeah, I asked him like a
Petrus.
couple years ago.
Blast from the past.
By the way, I missed the hell out of that guy.
Yeah, don't we all?
Who knows where he is.
Anyway,
right
B
now.
squared. You were
Wait, don't you miss his hugs?
I do. His hugs were great.
Remember you said that last year?
I do.
Like I gave him a hug.
Yeah, that was the best thing ever.
So he played really well all around. He had a really big block, I think, in the fourth quarter or maybe third quarter on a drive.
Something like that.
He rebounded pretty well tonight, but the offense was fantastic. He's shooting from deep. He was shooting from kind of high post, mixing it up a little. It was definitely his most diversified game he's had this season.
Yes, and he's a guy that can knock down jump shots with the best of them. And when those are falling, those guys down low, they have to come out, they have to play him, and that opens things up in the paint, and the rest is history. So when he's hitting that shot, that's good for them. And I thought we talked about it in the last couple of videos that he came up with a couple of huge shots down the stretch. Yeah. So that was good.
He was kind of the guy.
Whenever he has a good game,
sweating his ass off.
But he can't stop laughing or smiling at any question asked.
He probably gets the most nervous of any player that I've seen in the league. He gets. Remember in the Philly series a couple years ago where he was on the
podium
press conference?
Yeah.
He was pouring in sweat. That was brutal.
Yeah.
You see in the video.
Wasn't forming sentences.
We'll show you the video of him trying to talk after the game tonight, and I got a little bit of an assist from Jared Sullinger.
Sully, let me get that towel, man. let me hold this. Let me hold this. Hey man, you got all this blackness up. Okay, let's go.
What did you say about your growth?
Always another game.
Wait, what changed for you guys in the first half? You got down 6.
Hey man, get out of here.
That's twist.
Oh, twist. Okay. Say that again.
All right, boxing out times. Throw a little bit of bows in there. Take 2 and it's getting even more tuchus in it.
That's right.
All right, what's your stat of the night?
My stat of the night is bench points. The Celtics bench outscored the Jazz bench 44
Got the team right. That's good.
to 14.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, I got the stat right.
Well done.
That just goes to show you that the Celtics kind of have, I don't want to say depth because they don't, but in a way they do.
They do.
Right.
They do.
They have so if there's 20 players playing a pickup, or let's say 10 players playing a pickup game.
No, we're doing 10 on 10. We're going all out.
Let's say a bench full.
The goalie on each side.
They're the three best players will be in their team, but you'll have 4 through whatever the number is, and then and then
I think it's more 6 through 12. Maybe.
Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The Celtics have a lot of help. Brad Stevens said it before game. We have a lot of 6 men. He said that.
He was like, we have a 10th man.
Right, exactly. And I agree because whether it's Wallace or whether it's Bass or Courtney Lee or whoever Pressey tonight, whatever.
Olynyk.
Those guys can help in a pinch, and I don't think a team like the Jazz, as you saw, they're not very deep. And it came back to bite them.
Exactly.
Mr.
And now we're rubbing it in.
That's what we do.
We rub it in.
Oh, my stat. Yeah, 3-point shooting. The Jazz.
Always surprised that you're up on Saturday
I
night.
know. Who wants
Yeah.
to listen to me?
What a shocker.
The Jazz shot 1 for 10 from 3. Pretty impressive that the Celtics, only 5 games into the season, have kind of figured out their defensive schemes. They're rotating, they're helping, they're guarding the 3-point line, and they're holding the Jazz to 1 for 10 shooting. That's pretty impressive. I believe it was Hayward who had the only 3-pointer. Other guys combined for 0 for 8. Not bad.
Numbers. Numbers are fun.
It's kind of weird for me to do this stat because I actually came up late and missed the part where he played. So someone answer this for me in the comments. Vitor Favorani played 6 minutes tonight, only had 1 foul, didn't play the rest of the game. And they have Enes Kanter on their team. They have a really good big bruising center on their team who played great. And that dunk, oh my God, that dunk, that was sick.
But those guys, Kanter and Favors, they had their way down low in the beginning of the game, and that was a big reason why they took that lead. And I'm not saying Favorani couldn't have helped out later in the game, but something needed to be done, I think, at that point in the game is sort of switch something up.
And Jared Sullinger might be 2 or 3 inches shorter, but he's a more physical guy in the paint, and he's not afraid of anybody, and he's willing to, throw a couple of bows, as we've said. He can play that role.
Want to box out.
There you go.
Well, they actually had a lineup tonight with Favorani. Yeah, that was very smooth. They had a lineup tonight because Favorani wasn't playing, where they had all 6'8" guys and then Avery Bradley out there at the same time. Yeah, that's what happens when Vitor Favorani is in the doghouse and isn't playing. But it seemed to work for the most part because Derek Favors, you're not going to beat him with athleticism or length because he's probably going to beat even your 7-footers. So you got to get him out of position. And they guys like Bass and Sullinger and even Olynyk, who had a pretty good rebounding night, they really did their job because none of those guys are super athletic. Bass is a pretty good athlete, but those are the guys that are going to do the rebounding work below the rim, and they really got it done tonight.
Agreed.
All right, well, we got it done tonight. It was barely. That's what happens when you win. Everything goes crazy. For Evans, for Jimmy, for Jared is my name. That was the Garden Report. Celtics win 97-87. I remembered it this time.
Good job.
We'll see you for the next one. Peace out.